This is Dr. Maria Perona, who is the director of the medical clinic here at Wesley Medical Clinic on the seminary campus, pediatrician, pastor, graduate student in the seminary, has a PhD in family practice, and just one of the most remarkable people I know. She also has a vision, a dream for dealing with the problem that is infecting all of Venezuelan culture: teenage pregnancy, promiscuity, STDs, single-parent families. And she's developing a ministry called Una Esperanza, One Hope, to address these great needs that are impacting this whole culture. Dr. Maria, how do you hope to address all of this problem that exists in Venezuela?
The pregnant teenager, the adolescent, and let's understand that adolescence is the stage between 11 and 19 years where the young person is adapting in her maturity and experiencing changes in her body. And those changes are hard for her, both physically and emotionally. And during this stage, a pregnancy is a risk to the teenager. Because she is starting to mature psychologically and physically. And not having all of her body well developed will bring consequences. One of those could be an abortion, and this could be a spontaneous abortion, or it could be an interruption of the pregnancy because perhaps she hasn't been well nourished. Maybe she doesn't take vitamins. This could produce anemia. It might produce hypertension, and it might lead even to a preeclampsia or eclampsia. These pathologies are of serious consequence in the life of a teenager. And most babies born of teenage mothers are low in weight. They don't fully develop. They might reach 7 months term, but these would be premature babies. And then when they are left at daycares because their mother can't take care of them, these are babies that would need special care because they're very low-weight babies. This is a problem. Another consequence might be when the father would walk away and leave the girl on her own. Many times even her parents would refuse to provide for the child. These are single mothers then, with no resources to raise a child, no job, no one to watch their babies in the case that they might find a job or might want to consider studying. And many would resort to prostitution to make a living. So it's a public health issue when you have teenage pregnancies. And so therefore the work must be a work of prevention with these young people.
Dr. Maria, you've defined the problem pretty clearly. You understand what it is. You deal with it all the time. You live with it all the time. It's obvious to anyone who's just somewhat conscious of what's going on in Venezuela and the damage that's being done. But you've got a passion for this. It burns in your heart. It doesn't burn in everybody else. How or why do you have such a passion for this ministry?
I started working in a very depressed area at the west of Barquisimeto, and I saw many pregnant women in my practice. When I saw so many pregnant teenagers, I understood that there was a problem. And this was about 10 years ago. So I got a passion, and I went back and I studied. I got postgraduate studies on sexual education because these young people were getting pregnant. And so I started to do a postgraduate study on sexual education. And my thesis was based on prevention of teenage pregnancy. Once I researched the causes of this behavior, why this happened, my passion increased. It became more than just to do prevention work, but trying to connect the young women and help them, those perhaps who had been mistreated by parents and abandoned by their partners. What could I do? What could I do with this young woman left alone? So I started doing what I could with financial help, with lab work they might need, with groups coming together to listen, to have educational talks, medication. I thought about creating a ministry that would help meet these needs. Nothing like this exists in our country, a center providing medical attention to teenagers at risk, pregnant teenagers.
Dr. Maria, I know that with Una Esperanza, you're already involved in addressing these needs that you so clearly understand, have a passion to address. What are some of the ways you're already helping and ways that you hope to help in the future with this?
The provision necessary for this project has come from our church primarily. They have been very supportive, helping with the prevention campaign in schools and high schools, at the public health center, reaching out to young girls, and providing counseling and mentoring through a team that I've trained to do the follow-up process, connecting them with the churches in the area and pastors who can continue to care for them and help them. This team consists of pastors, nurses, teachers, social workers, counselors. They volunteered their time to help these young mothers, and we volunteered our time and resources in order to continue operation. It's been a slow process due to our limited resources.
Dr. Moreno, with the development of Una Esperanza, there are people back in the United States who are very passionate about this there. Some of them have been involved with it for 25 years or more that I've worked with, dealing with the same kind of things. They've developed programs and materials and are involved in the very same social issues that you're involved with here, except the poverty here makes it even greater. They've sent some materials down for you that I want to present to you that you can use with the ministry here. They're also raising money, and some of them would love to come down and partner with you to teach or to care for these young girls or children, to partner alongside you to help support what you're doing. How from your perspective, how can the church in the United States best help provide the one hope, Una Esperanza, that these young girls and at-risk children need so desperately here in Venezuela?
Studies have shown that the need for good sexual education program in schools, both in the elementary and high school, is needed desperately in order to prevent sexually transmitted diseases and teenage pregnancies. And that requires trained people to facilitate the orientation in schools. We're currently working in the largest municipal district in Latin America, Juan de Villegas, with an important number of schools and high schools, but not enough volunteers. There's the need for teaching material, educational resources that have proved to be effective in this process of orientation, to guide the teenager through manuals, videos, and other resources used in conferences and classes designed to teach them about their sexuality, learning values, preventing an unwanted pregnancy. Financial support will be ideal for computers, projectors, teaching materials like this one, and teachers willing to come to teach and train volunteers. Because this is our beginning, we need counsel and mentoring of people that would share their knowledge and expertise. If they have traveled further along this road, then we must listen to their experience on this. So we're in need of training, material, teaching resources, in order to equip the staff of volunteers and send them to the young people in need. We also need supplies for the young mothers, a center that could provide baby clothes, diapers, and such to help them out. And in the same way, it would be ideal to have vocational training center to teach working skills to these young mothers, hairdressing, handcrafts, tailoring, and other practical skills. And we would like to have the financial support in order to expand our reach beyond the current community to the whole state and to other states to become a model center in this kind of work.
This week I held a baby that whose mother, 17 years old, her grandmother is 34 years old, her great-grandmother is in her early 50s, and her great-great-grandmother is about 70 years old. As I held that baby, I sensed something of the passion that Dr. Maria has for this need. It is a huge opportunity for the Church of Venezuela. The Church of Venezuela is claiming this opportunity as God ordained and has raised up Dr. Maria to lead this effort. I want to thank you for your giving, for your prayers, your support. I want to invite you to come to Venezuela to help. You can make an eternal impact on thousands and thousands of lives by doing a very little bit to try to help with this need. Whatever you can do will be appreciated. Thank you so much. Dr. Maria, thank you so much for the passion that you have for this ministry. Thank you for the years you've invested in training, for the competency you bring to the work, for your tremendous ministry for Christ, but leading this nation in addressing a need that is corrupting the whole culture. You're a hero of the faith to me, and you're a dear friend, and I appreciate the opportunity I've had to get to know you, and I hope that many more people will come alongside you to work with you and support you in reaching this nation for Christ and redeeming what is really a very difficult social problem. Thank you, and God bless you, Dr. Maria.